help me with some of my recording levels. I'm having
Sure.
trouble figuring out where I should start everything before I record. Some people have said to me, you know, record at the red level, and that hasn't worked out. And some people have said record at green.
The highest.
Yeah,
Okay.
they've said to do that, and both ways I've tried, and I just can't seem to find something that sounds right in the end. Do you have any suggestions for that?
Sure. It's good you're using your ears. That's important. The first thing is the engineers have set a nominal level for most of this stuff, and it's between minus 12 dB SPL to minus 20. That's if the meters and everything were really good. So basically, a lot of this stuff now, the meters aren't really that accurate on a lot of these things. It varies from a camera to a recorder to a whatever you're using. So a lot of this stuff, you kind of use your ears and kind of use your sight, you know. So here's what you want to do. You don't want it really super low. And you don't want it in the red. When you have the red signifies digital zero. Anything over zero, it can't be used. It turns its noise. It just, you know, we used to call it digital caca. It's just nothing. The orange is nice and hot, but you're running that risk of being really too close to the red. So what you want to do is you want to kind of visualize, first of all, look at your entire recording. And if you're just talking to a band playing with no big kicks or just ding, 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 and everybody playing with no big accents or anything, you want to look at it that way, that there's no accents or anything, and then set everything accordingly so it's kind of not into the orange, but high green, say, you know, kind of up there, but not too far up there. Now, it sounds like I'm becoming a little vague, but some of this stuff is vague because of just the meters are all different from product to product. Okay, so now you look at your entire, what you're recording. If you're looking at a voiceover and he's talking, or him or her is talking, well, I wanted that, and then 55, you know, well, okay, now you know that it's going low, and then all of a sudden he says something really loud. So you want to plan for that. Every once in a while, if it's a transient, you know, that real high, that spike, if every once in a while it goes into the red, that's kind of okay. You know, I mean, you can get away with it, like, you know, a hand clap and it pops into the red, it's all right, you know. You just don't want things to stay there. So basically the rule is try to keep up, stay in the green, stay safe, but stay on the upper, try to stay on the upper area. So that way, if you get into the orange, that's okay, you know, and it'll keep you, that'll give you some headroom, letting you know that you don't want to go any higher than that, you know. So, and it all depends on the kind of recording you're making too. So that's pretty much just a good guideline.
Do you mind helping me test that out?
Sure.
Okay.
Do anything you like. Go ahead.
This is an example of low preamplifier setting.
Okay, now the next one's going to be medium.
This is an example of medium preamplifier setting.
This is working perfect. And we're going to set it high. Are you ready?
Ready.
All right. We're on.
This is an example of high preamplifier settings.
Okay, so here's a couple examples of what we recorded.
Okay.
And you'll see quickly which ones are good and which ones aren't. So here's the first one.
This is an example of low preamplifier setting. Okay, that sounded really low.
Yes, you can barely hear that. Okay, so here's the second one.
This is an example of medium preamplifier setting.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds actually really good and crisp, and it doesn't sound like too quiet that you'd have to bump up the volume to master it, or too loud that you'd be sitting there nitpicking through the whole thing.
Now let me show you what happens when you turn it a little too loud.
This is an example of high preamplifier settings. That was terrible.
Yeah, I know, that's why you don't ever want to do that. So there's kind of an explanation of going from the very soft to the ideal to the little bit too loud, and the little bit too loud is where most people kind of want to record. But as you can see, it really is too loud. You really don't want to record there. So I hope that helped.
It did a lot. Thank you very much.
Good.